Well, hello there, amazing people, and as you guys can see, I'm not a Linux user anymore. I am on the good old Mac OS. Oh boy, what happened? Why did he forsake us? Why did he go to the dark side? Well, there's a reason for it. It all started with me like a year ago, wanted a laptop or a tablet, and then I was helping a guy with some IT help, and I figured out, well, a tablet may not be as good for IT. When you're helping people, troubleshooting modems and shit like that, it's just easy on a laptop. So I was looking into getting second-hand laptop. And I did that on this little site here. That's a Danish second-hand site. I also looked at other sites, but I looked at this one here in specific because I have had really good recommendation for it. So I was looking into good old Blue City, and I wanted a Lenovo laptop, and I always used Lenovo laptops for years and years and years and years and years. But then I was like, I kind of want to mess around a little bit with Mac OS, and oh, my fans are kicking in now. I haven't messed around with Mac OS forever, like since 2008 or 2010-ish. So I messed around with that in my head. I was like, oh, it's so expensive. And then I was actually comparing the specs and the prices in here for what a Lenovo laptop would cost and what a MacBook Pro would cost. And with the same specs, I had to pay like 1 or 2% extra to get a MacBook in the same condition with the same amount of RAM and hard drive and stuff like that. So I've added this on a live stream of mine a couple of times, and people basically like, go get it, go get it, go get it. And I saved up some money from AdSense, so you guys watching my videos and watching the ads have actually helped supporting this little system, or helped me getting this system here. Fuck it, I bought it. So here it is. It's a 13-inch, early 2011 MacBook Pro, as you guys can see here, running 2.3 gigahertz and Intel Core i5. It has 2 physical core and 4 with hyper-threading, as you guys can see up here. It has 4 gigs of RAM. I probably will upgrade that. And it has 2 hard drives. That's basically why I got this, because it has a SSD 120 gig, not that much, but it's mostly just for the operating system and some programs here and there. And then a 500 gig data drive that I just downloaded some backed up videos I have, recordings of my tech stuff and what have you not, to just see how the transfer speed was over Wi-Fi to my NAS server and what have you not. But yeah, I want it because of the hard drive space here. And like I said, I probably will go and upgrade the memory to 8 gig because it's not that expensive anymore. It is an old system. Like I said, High Sierra, it's not even supported by Apple anymore, meaning that you're not getting security updates and whatnot, which can be a problem. But for what I'm using it for, it's not going to be a problem, and I will explain that in a bit. Why I wanted this primarily was because I'm an operating system guy. I like operating systems. So I wanted something where I could experience, the good old Mac OS here. And I don't want to go and buy a totally new MacBook or Mac OS system and what have you not. I'm just messing about with something here while I'm speaking. Because I'm not going to use this as my main system. Actually, this is just going to be a couch computer. Or a computer I use when or if I have to help more friends with networks and stuff like that. I will be going and use this system here to basically connect to their routers, their networks, and what have you not. So it's not, it's not a computer that I'm going to use 24/7. So the security aspect of it, yes, it bugs me a little bit. Not that much, because it is a consumer system. So I'm basically just going to use it to just watch YouTube, Netflix, reading some articles here and there. Not going to download any programs on. Like I said, I have OBS. I have what do I have here? I downloaded the CPU LED here. Google Drive, Google Chrome. So I'm also basically staying inside Apple's ecosystem. So that means oh, there's actually updates here. So that means staying within, the curated apps from the App Store, so to speak, for Mac OS's App Store. So the possibility of getting outdated or security problem software should be really, really slim. But because it's an old system, there are, things that's not supported. So if you go into, like, let's say iMovie here, where is it? It's up here. It's a free video editing program for macOS. So if I click Get and I click Install, it's telling me that it's not supported because I'm running an outdated OS. Not that big of a deal. Most of the things that I want to use is here. There may be the odd program I need to go and use an older version of. I probably will see if I can find iMovie, like a version 9 or something like that, just to check it out and see what iMovie is all about. But one of the other main reasons for me to having this system here, other than I can take it with me to my mom, we can watch movies on it, Netflix on it, whatever streaming service it is, connected to a TV, we can watch that from my internet. We can, I don't want to look at the dark side, Phil. We can, or I can use it to help people troubleshooting when I'm out in the field and doing a little bit of tech support. But here's the main reason. I can now compare Linux to macOS. I can now see how Linux is doing things and how macOS is doing things. And because I don't talk much about macOS or compare Linux much to macOS because I don't really know that much about macOS other than my experience is, like I said, over 10 years old with it. And I kind of have a problem with people talking about something that they don't have first-hand experience with. They read an odd article and cherry pick what they want out from that article, or they go and they find someone that are using something and they ask them specific questions to get the right answer. And that's all kind of dubious things going on, in my opinion, when people are comparing Linux to other systems. They do their best to make Linux look good and everything else look bad, basically. So up till now, I have mostly talked about Linux versus Windows because I'm using Windows every day and I'm using Linux every day. But I also wanted to talk about Linux versus macOS. Granted, this is like a 3-4-year-old system. I can't even remember when this came out. I think it was 2017. Yeah, 2000 initial release. Yeah, 2017, and it got end of life November the 12th, 2020. So it's not like the latest and greatest, but it gives you an idea about how Mac do things. And before you say, oh well, you're comparing Linux current versus Mac OS outdated, well, that means that Linux should be better on all fronts. Like, it would not be good if Linux was worse than an outdated version of macOS. That is not good looking for Linux. The same with Windows. It would not be good for Windows if it's still not better than an outdated version of macOS. That's also why I kind of am interested in this, is to see how do modern Windows, modern Linux stack up to a almost 5-year-old system or operating system from Apple. Really, really interesting. Maybe they are blowing it away. I don't know. Maybe they are not. There are some usability features here that definitely is not anywhere else on the spectrum on Linux or Mac or also Windows or what have you. Not like all of these gestures here that you can do that I really, really are starting to enjoy with my trackpad here. This is just fucking amazing if you ask me. So yeah, there's a lot of things we can go into here. And of course, by all means, if you want to see anything Linux compared with Mac OS, let me know down in the descriptions and we can go, or not description, comment section, and we can go nuts. But here's one of the main reasons. This one here. I want to nerd out in the Mac terminal. This version of Mac OS is using Bash. The newer ones is using ZSH, I think it is. So we can actually compare Bash or Bash Shell on Mac OS with Bash Shell on the Linux. Are there some commands that don't work? Do Mac OS have commands that Linux don't have? How is it to do? Can we just copy-paste Linux commands into Mac OS? Like, what can we do with Mac OS in the backend in the terminal? How can we tweak it, modify it, mess around with it? This being an old operating system, a really, really cheap second or third or fourth hand laptop that basically just meant to be, watching Netflix and stuff like that. So if I break something on it, I really don't care, because it's actually really cheap. I can't buy one each month, but it will take me like 2 months and I can get a new one. You get what I'm saying here. So if I break something or fuck the system up in some way or form or whatever, not that big of a problem. Plus, it's these unibody Macs, so it's really, really easy to upgrade components. We can nerd out in the command line like a motherfucker and compare that with Linux. How much of a nerd and geek can we be on Mac OS? Can we go in and basically go ham in the command line and live in the command line like we can under Linux? Really, really interesting to see. I think I will make a video about like how can we live in the command line? Can we live in here? Like, can we live in here? And, go all nerdy on our hand, like get Ranger installed if we can do that, and see what kind of, can we get HTOP? HTOP is not installed by default, of course. So can we get that installed? Let's just open up good old top again. How nerdy can we get with Mac OS? And then, of course, now I can talk about Mac OS versus Linux and Mac OS versus Windows, like from a usability standpoint, from how it handles programs and stuff like that. And I really, really can't wait to, like I said, go into the command line and go full-blown nerdy geeky boy on it and get the biggest nerd bone and what have you not. And well, if we break it, we break it, but you get my idea. I probably will install Linux on this machine at some point also and see how it runs, let's say, Ubuntu or something like that. Dual boot that with Mac OS. So let me know any ideas you guys have that you want to see with Mac OS, Linux, and Windows in the comment section down below. And let's just nerd out, the more operating systems we can mess with, the better. That's what I'm all about. I love operating systems. I love messing with them. See you all later. Bye-bye.